Good morning.
Wake up, it's a brand new day. Let's get down on the good news train. Have your morning coffee with Mario every Monday. Get the 311 before the morning's done. Laugh until you cry. You can always rely on morning coffee with Mario every Monday. Morning coffee with Mario.
What's happening? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Morning Coffee, the AM reality talk series where we talk about the things that are most interesting to you and I can say, what's up? It's wonderful to be here. Good morning. Never here alone. My partner in crime, the very gifted Victor Allen. Everybody give it up for Victor.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My Monday is dragon, and I'm not talking about breath, but I'm dragon breath. You all right, man?
You know, the seasons are changing. I don't know if you guys have. First of all, we're now well into 2022. Everybody's expectations are changing, are definitely changing as it relates to this year. We're starting to think about getting back to the norm. Everybody is. And so that's causing us to have some adjustment reactions, right? I don't know about you, Vic. Are you having some... I'm still carrying my mask around. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still carrying my mask around.
I have something to admit. I am actually forgetting my mask more often, so I think I'm in transition adjustment, man.
You know, and it's a bunch of mixed messages, you know, and that's what. So here we are, Monday morning, attempting to deal with a bunch of things. The new normal, which is mask or not mask, get out or not get out, travel or not travel, and of course, this constant now daily offering on the war in Ukraine. So now this is part of our daily stuff. I got to give it up. I give it up for you all. I think that these are difficult times and people are handling it, you know, pretty well.
When you say pretty well, which people are you talking about?
Well, when I say pretty well, you have to understand I actually expect full-on disintegration,
Okay.
falling apart.
Okay.
So when they don't do that, I guess I'm happy.
Right.
I'm happy. But no. It's interesting. Americans are stepping up toward helping the folks in Ukraine. And so it's become a cause celebre, you know, across this country and indeed throughout the world.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess people are stepping up, even though we know that we want to make sure that for the future that we build upon this. So many refugees in the world, you guys, so many refugees in the world today. And at least I'm hoping that this current crisis increases our sensitivity to refugees. Because you have refugees from Syria, you got refugees from all around.
Right.
And hopefully we can do something to help all of those refugees too.
You know what? I have some words probably later in my ethos segment as it relates to Ukraine, but you know what I wanted to do is make sure that this Monday starts off with a positive message, and so I made sure that I waited for you to come out swinging, and you did exactly what I expected. You reminded people of what the world is really like for many people who are just not as fortunate to be in the position that we're in. So I have to say you are right on point this morning, and I am not being sarcastic. I'm being real about it, man.
Hey, we're having our coffee, but we're talking about the things, you know, that are affecting us. I got up this morning with the idea of coming to you all, and as always, I look to see what is happening. And let's face it, there's a bunch happening, and it's calling us to arms. It's interesting. For the President Joe Biden the Russia thing takes on a bigger, much bigger picture. In a way, in a sense, providing a certain degree of distraction, it seems. You know, we're watching what goes on in Russia, and that allows us to not think about what's going on with Trump, the Department of Justice, Merrick Garland, and all those things. So it sort of adds to a distraction. You know, even though I must admit, in some ways, I'm kind of glad to be just be distracted. I don't know.
You wait a minute. Distracted with what though? What is the main distraction from the distraction?
Shows you how sad it is. It actually feels better to worry about Ukraine than to worry about Trump.
There you go. There you go.
And I guess that's sad.
Yeah.
I guess that's sad. I wonder how many of you are feeling that way too. We are distracted by Ukraine, and in some ways that gets us away from thinking about our own domestic issues. And for some reason, we feel better.
Absolutely.
Well, anyway, a lot of stuff is happening. Everybody's pulling out of Russia. It's kind of interesting. I've been paying attention to who's been doing it. McDonald's said they are shutting down in Russia, and as it seems, a bunch of the Russians are in line to get a fast food fix from McDonald's, which is amazing.
Right.
Which is amazing. All around in Florida, check this out, Vic. In Florida, the state has now initiated a new directive that really goes after folks who have transgender children, making them criminals if they support that transgender. That's right. Now, if you're a parent who has a transgender child in Texas, if you support them on that allegation that they are if they do things that are considered gender affirming, you could be reported for child abuse.
Okay. Is this a new law?
This is a directive that came out in the state of Texas that directed caseworkers to now initiate investigations and allegations against parents who were doing gender affirming treatments of their children.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I'm speechless on that one, bro.
You know, just terrible stuff. Again, in the Ukraine, they've been told to destroy the pathogens that they have in their labs. In other words, as you've heard, the Russians have taken over the nuclear facilities. Well, it turns out they've also taken over a bunch of the laboratory facilities. And that involves things that could be, well, they're pathogens that are potentially used for whatever purposes. But they've been told to destroy them.
Wow. Okay.
So, again, news today. Have your coffee.
Yeah, you letting people have it on this Monday. Aren't
It's
you?
a Monday. It's going to go quick.
Yeah, you're slapping people with, hey, this is a good day, L.A., right?
I don't know if we're going to have any good day.
All right. So,
L.A.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things that's going around, too, is Big Pharma, the drug companies.
Well, okay, we know, right?
They're one of the few people that are still doing full business in Russia, the drug companies, saying that they are responding to medical needs. So that because they are responding to medical needs, that they are now doing, these are humanitarian reasons.
Right.
While they are concluding, while they haven't stopped dealing with Russia.
Do you believe that a lot of the bigger corporations are at a fine line? For example, if you know, they talk about the technical companies and that they're taking advantage of putting in fake information, but that's supported by the platforms such as, say, Google or others, that say, hey, look, they're using our platform. Do corporations need to take a stand and say, let's shut that down, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, but then do they leave the people voiceless to share what may actually be happening? It's a double-edged sword. You take away the platform so that the politicians don't abuse it, but then at the same time, The people who would need it to sit back and say, this is what's happening, they're not able to, and they go to alternative apps. What do you think about that?
I think it shows, again, the ever-increasing power of social media, that people out there and in the Ukraine are using alternative forms of media. You know, the Russians have really tried to stop the internet. And one of the things Elon Musk has said is that he would provide internet service. I haven't heard anything more about that. But exactly, people are sharing through social media what is happening in Ukraine, and indeed that has become once again one of the main ways. The one you were talking about is the families, right, Vic?
Yeah.
The one where the father and the son were conversing. Tell them about that one.
Well, yeah, this one is, it's been about a week or so ago, and there are many stories now, so it's a whole bunch of them now, because throughout the week, where the families, they have families in Ukraine and Russia, and while they're talking, this one instance was talking to a father. A son was saying, father got on the phone and just simply said, son, how are you doing? Just like a everyday, regular conversation. And the son said, we're getting bombed, Pops. We're getting bombed. They're dropping bombs. The Russian military. And the father says, no, that's fake news. That's not happening. whatever you're seeing there, that's not the Russians doing that. And he would not believe him. He kept trying to push through it. Didn't work. And so there's several stories like this catapulted, but beyond that one, the defiance because of how good they took the last few decades and just kind of entrenched this ideology that Ukraine is neo-Nazis. But you're going to get a story also in my ethos where we'll follow up on that as well. And this is kind of permeated through Russia for the most part. And they just crack down on anyone who has a voice against. And that's also including the journalism and broadcasters. So there's many others. There's the Google story. I won't even get into that one. This is a story that was published back in September last year, where they said, hey, Google, stop. Walked into the executive's office, stop what you're doing. And they came in armed. Armed. That's how they are. They were going, you need to stop. Take down the platform. Warn the person. Came back when they didn't do it. It says, the clock is ticking. That's how they were talking. So I'm just giving you an idea that this is what's happening in America. It's terrible, man.
Just that type of world. Ongoing with Trump, the investigations continue. We're going to be getting supposedly a bunch of news in the next couple of months. It's interesting that Trump is still aligning himself for a run at the next presidential election. I don't know how people, which to me is amazing, and part of my frustration with the current Department of Justice. As you know, you've been hearing reports about people who are being charged for the insurgency. But it looks to be, I don't know about you, but it looks to be small numbers. I expected to see 3,000 people indicted. Okay? But but there's no heart to deal with that. There's no heart to deal with it. There is some agreement on attacking the leadership. The head of the Proud Boys was arrested. Other people were arrested. But there seems to be, once again, this whole, in general, unwillingness for America to deal with the truth. They don't want to deal with the insurrection. People really want to brush it underneath the table and let it go. There is no heart for dealing with it. And that's amazing, because when they do that, they leave it open for it to occur again. We know that the same people that did that insurrection, they're sitting at home planning the next thing. Okay, they're planning the next thing. This is the way our world has become. The president still, and again, I reminded people, my issue with Biden always has been is that he's kind of been a cream puff. He's always been, well, let's put it like this. In his efforts to be non-confrontational, he never pushed anything. My criticism of him was always he was the one who sat down and had dinner with all the segregationists and told them, well, would you please be nicer to the Negroes? And in that day and time, that was progressive because, like I remind people, when I was 13, the whole United States was Trump. So when Biden was nice to us, at least spoke kindly to black people, we appreciated that. But there were no stands taken. And here we go again. Here we go again. Now, so the latest Supreme Court nominee, I don't know what people think about her. I'm starting to gather some information. I don't have an opinion. Biden pledged to nominate a black female, you know, and even as a black man, it just sounds so patronizing in some ways. But on the other hand, they do that for abortion. They pledge to find a Supreme Court member that's anti-abortion. So putting political agendas into selection of a Supreme Court candidate is not new. They act like this is new now because he said a black woman. Before, they didn't have to say it. They knew it was going to be a white man. When it was a white woman, they talked about it. So everybody knows. That's what everybody says. It's the norm. It was the norm. And now we may have a different norm. But again, I don't know about this latest Supreme Court candidate. There's things to be learned. There are things that you learn. You learn things like Thurgood Marshall was a friend of J. Edgar Hoover. Okay? And then there's a lot of reports about Thurgood Marshall and how he felt about King. These are things that are out there for you to know so you can understand the background that goes into these things as we move supposedly forward. But waiting to see. You know, Kamala Harris is there trying to stay out of the public eye because all she has to do is be quiet and wait, and she'll be the next Democratic candidate for president and potentially the first black woman president of the United States.
In less than 10 seconds. Less. What's your opinion of Clarence Thomas?
He sucks.
That took about 2 seconds. Very good.
He sucks.
Very good.
Example of black privilege that forgets where it's from. And everything about him shows that.
Oh, man.
Everything about that. That's Clarence Thomas. What these latest things have proven is that you can have people of color in positions of power and still have essentially no change. I don't want to get into a debate about Obama right now, okay, but I can tell you what it's showing us, all of these things, is that you can have people of color in positions of power. You can have women in positions of power. Soon we'll have gay people in more and more positions of power. And what you'll see is actually things do not change because it's not a function of those things. It's a function of the real politics, and those decisions seem to stay the same.
Well, I know Clarence Thomas' wife is a piece of work. I won't get into all that.
Clarence Thomas' wife. So, you know, I hate to say it, but, you know, there are those people you wonder, man, you lay down with...
You know what?
I'm just saying.
You know what?
I go,
I'm staying
some
out
of
that
these
one.
guys, and the women too, I go, you lay down with that? You lay down?
I'm staying out of that conversation.
I'm just saying.
I was talking about her,
Okay.
her position as it seems to be very, very...
That makes it doubly worse. They look like that, then you got to listen to their mouth, and that's their politics, and that's what Clarence Thomas enjoys. I don't want to comment.
Yeah, I'm leaving that alone.
I don't want to comment.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there, man.
We got Victor Allen's ethos today. What we got in the ethos, Vic?
You know, this day we're gonna. I said I was going to highlight what I say is the community I like to revolve in, and I'm going to be spotlighting people's global imprint and voice. And what I mean by that, there's going to be a couple of places where we're going to go click the video and let them talk first, and then I will follow up. But it's really about the empowerment side. It's more of a positive side. I'm recognizing many voices that are not just in the mainstream of what they call media, you know, corporate media, the same old. And then also my effort to sit back and recognize that while a war is going on, never forget it. No matter where it's at, never forget where the word's at. So you're going to have a couple of profiles we're going to check out. And I think you'll find yourself to be pleasantly pleased, because empowering women seems to be the catch right now, where I see so many of those stories, man. I hope to share them with you.
Well, there we go. We'll be right back with Victor Allen's Ethos in just a minute.
Playing from Mario's iPad 4.
That's right, all free music. Go to our website, go to our CC Music Collection, and get this all free music. Good morning, Brenda, Beth, Omari. What's happening, folks?
Shattered my heart and left me with pieces of a broken home. Now you say you need me, standing at the door, asking if you can come in, and I can't say no, no, I can't say no. You and I just can't say goodbye. Every time we do, well, it's just another lie. I know you're no good for me, but every time I'm with you, there's nowhere I'd rather be. We've been to hell, been burned by the flames of a pain so deep that even the strongest God in the heavens would kneel and weep. But here I lie, pressed against your skin, right where I wanna be. You're the sweetest sin. You and I just can't say goodbye. Every time we do, well, it's just another lie. I know you're no good for me, but every time I'm with you, there's nowhere I'd rather be.
This ain't sound of Body Heat. That's Laswell. Drunk in a smoky bar, drinking an Imperial Porter Mix. Longest name in the world. Laswell. Drunk in a smoky bar, drinking an Imperial Porter Mix. Yeah.